Hey, how's it going, everybody? Matt Houston here, and today we're going to go back to the Artificer. Apparently, they had put in 2 more subclasses. I didn't know about them until recently, unfortunately, and I'm really excited. I haven't looked at them yet, and let's see what we got. So, first we have the Archivist. What is the best ways to store vast amounts of information? That question has occupied chroniclers and librarians for centuries. Scrolls and books were the finest information storing methods for a long time, but the first archivists imagined something greater, storing information in a real or artificial mind. What library could match a mental archive capable of accessing information in seconds? As they work towards this goal, artificers have become masters of storing knowledge and creating artificial intelligence fueled by magic. These techniques have yet to be perfected and utilized, and of all artificers, archivists are on the cutting edge of arcane science. That is not what I was expecting. Although this would explain how you get the Warforged. So they're mental arcane casters, but they're archivists, so they still work in paper. Anyways, so let's see what we get here. So tools of the trade. By the time you adopt this specialty at 3rd level, you're deeply familiar with employing its tools. Proficiencies. You gain proficiency with calligrapher's supplies and the forgery kit. Interesting, assuming you don't already have them. You also gain calligrapher's supplies and forgery kit for free, the result of tinkering you've done as you've prepared for this specialization. Crafting. If you craft a magic item in the scroll category, it takes a quarter of the time of the normal time, and it costs you half as much as the usual time. So this is going to be my Artificer archetype that I'm going to want to play. Scrolls are my favorite thing. That was the thing that I poured endless amounts of money into when I played it in 3.5. I poured a bit into wands as well, because let's be honest here, having a wand of counterspell or a wand of fireball is just too good. But scrolls were like the go-to thing that I would just get all my spells through. Was just Artificer. If you're playing an Artificer, you made scrolls to have an answer for every problem. It was just the thing that you did. Archivist spells. Starting at 3rd level, you always have certain spells prepared after you reach a particular level in this class, as shown as the Archivist spell table. Blah 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 blah. You get bonus spells. Yay! And don't count your number prepared. So you get comprehend languages, dissonant whispers, detect thoughts, locate object, hypnotic pattern, tongues, create, locate creature, phantasmal, killer, legend, lore, and modify memory. Interesting. So the Archivist is not a lore master, but a mental expert? Interesting. Although they still have legend lore. So they're both. They're a brain puncher and a note taker. Huh. So artificial mind. At 3rd level, also, you discover how to awaken a mind inside an object. Whenever you finish a long rest, you and your calligrapher's supplies are with you. You can magically ruse a keen mind within a tiny, non-magical object on which you write magical symbols. The object is a magic item, while the mind is inside it, and you can use it as a spellcasting focus. Nice. If you already have an artificial mind from this feature, the first one immediately dissipates. Interesting. So any tiny non-magical object. So tiny would be about this big or smaller. So you could put that on like a scroll case. You could put that on a small, like just your calligrapher supplies in general. You could put that on gold coins. You could put that on a shoe. Interesting. There's a lot of ways that you could use that. Telepathic advisor. The artificial mind telepathically supplies you with advice and information about certain topics. While the item is on your person, you have proficiency in 2 skills of your choice. The item's main material determines which skills you can choose from, as shown in the artificial mind table and skills proficiency column. For the nature of the object affects the keen mind's knowledge. Interesting. So if I want something about stonework and the such, I might want to make like a pickaxe or something. Manifest mind. As a bonus action, while the item is on your person, you can cause the mind to manifest as a tiny spectral presence hovering in unoccupied space of your choice within 60 feet of you. The presence is intangible and invulnerable and sheds dim light in a 10-foot radius. You determine its appearance. The artificial mind table offers suggestions. While manifested, the spectral mind can hear and see and has dark vision within range of 60 feet. As an action, you can hear and see using the mind's senses instead of your own until your concentration ends, if concentrating on a spell. Alright. As a bonus action, you can cause the spectral mind to hover up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that which you can see. It can see, rather. It can pass through creatures but not objects. The spectral mind stops manifesting if it's ever more than 300 feet away from its magical item or if you dismiss it as a bonus action. When you cast an Artificer spell on your turn, you can cast it as if you were in the spectral mind space instead of your own, using its senses. You can do so a number of times per day equal to the intelligence modifier, and you gain all expended uses. So wait, hold on. You can cast the spell as if you were in the spectral mind's space instead of your own. So I can send my spectral mind 30 feet away and cast from that position. That's interesting. That gives me an extra line of sight, actually. Ooh, that could mean that you could adjust where you're firing lightning bolts. It also would mean that you could, in theory, extend your range by 60 feet. Information overload. As an action, while the item is on your person, you can try to magically overload the thoughts of one creature you or the mind can see that is within 5 feet of the manifested mind. Channeling a jumble of information from the artificial mind, channeling a jumble of information from the artificial, unless the target succeeds on an intelligence saving throw against your spell DC, it takes 1d8 psychic damage, and the next attack roll against it before the end of your next turn has advantage, since it's temporarily too distracted to defend itself well. The damage increases by 1d8 when you reach 5th, 11th, 17th level. Interesting. So it's basically an additional cantrip. Whenever you deal damage with this feature, you can expend a spell slot to deal extra damage to the target. The target damage is 2d8 for a first level spell slot, plus 1 for each. So it's basically smite. So hold on. So you can smite people with this? Hold on. Magically overload the thoughts of one creature you or the mind can see that is within 5 feet of the manifested mind. That is within 5 feet of the manifested mind. So it has to be within its range, not your range. But if you keep that close to you, but this also means that you can smite at range. And this is insane. Like, at 17th level, doing 4d8 is pretty standard. But being able to do 4d8 and then expend a first level spell slot, which by the late levels, you're not even using your early spell slots for a whole lot anyways. Wizards will use them for shield, mage armor, but second level, there's not much. Third level, you can use them for your counter spells, but you'll end up upcasting them regularly enough just to kind of keep things from getting out of control and having to worry about checks. Interesting. I can see you using a second level spell slots a lot for this, and dealing that 7d8 psychic damage to something. Is that as an action? That is as an action, so it's not as good as spells. However, I don't know. That's interesting. At later levels, this is definitely worth using over your lower spell slots. Just on its own, this action on its own is better than just casting Burning Hands, for example. And then being able to just pump a first level spell slot into it, there you go. It's now 68. 68 to a single target is better than Scorching Ray. And it's psychic damage, which means it's going to be better against most creatures in general. That's really cool. I like that. You get that 3rd level? Oh, that's cool. I like that. All right, and what are these suggestions here? So, main materials, so parchment, leather, bone. You get stuff in. Okay, mineral. Oh, that's true. It doesn't have to be an item. It can be an object, so you can just put it into a piece of stone. Interesting. All right, mind network. At 6th level, you've learned to use your artifacts to access minds, both to communicate and to harm. Okay, magical telephony. Telephony? Magical telephony. While you have your artificial mind item on your person, you can communicate telepathically with anyone carrying an item bearing one of your Artificer's infusions as the mind transmits your thoughts to each other. That person can also communicate telepathically with you as long as they have the item. This is a two-way communication, can even cross planar boundaries. Wow, okay. Yeah, mind network is definitely a way of putting it. Oh, you can give the pouches to everybody. So there's 5 pouches. If you have 6 party members, you can give the 5 pouches to literally everybody else in the party. You're probably not going to have every magical item in the group anyways, but you can give that to literally everyone in the party. You can now communicate literally everyone to everyone across the planes. Wherever you go. No matter where you go, you can just still communicate. That would make it way easier to find people when they get shunted into a different plane of existence. Oh, that's amazing. Psychic damage. When you make a psychic damage roll for an Artificer spell or for the information overload, you gain bonus to the damage roll equal to your intelligence modifier. So now, at 6th level, this is no longer 1d8 or 2d8. It's 2d8 plus 5. Pure information. At 14th level, the artificial mind is able to receive and transmit more information than ever before. Mind overload. When you expend a spell slot to increase the damage of information overload, the target must succeed on an intelligence saving throw against your DC or be stunned until the end of your next turn. All right, let's just give Wizard Stunning Strike and Smite, why don't we? Holy! Blowing a second level spell slot as an action deals 78 plus 5 and stuns. And intelligence saving throws aren't exactly common. That's really good. Infoportation. As an action, while your artificial mind magic item is on your person, you can cause the mind to turn you into pure information, teleporting you to an unoccupied space nearest to the spectral mind or to an item bearing one of your artificer infusions where you physically reappear. You can teleport in this way once for free and must finish a long rest before doing so again. You can also use this special ability by expending a spell slot 2nd level or higher. There's a use for your 2nd level spell slots. Just move anywhere on the battlefield where one of your allies are. Move anywhere else in the world because you now have the ability to just go wherever the rogue is. Wow, that is incredible. Lots of really cool, fun stuff here. Oh, I want to play this now. This is my next character. I don't care what happens. That is amazing. All right, and apparently there's one more. I think it was, all right, so there's another one. Here we go, Battlesmith. All right, so let's see what the Battlesmith has. So this is gonna be more of your, like, your forging stuff, I would imagine. More of like your blacksmith, artificer. So Battlesmith, armies require protection and someone has to put things back together if defenses fail. A combination of protection and medic, the Battlesmith is an expert at defending others and repairing both materials and personnel to aid in their work. Battlesmiths are usually accomplished Battlesmiths are usually accompanied by an iron defender, protective companion of their own creation. Many soldiers tell stories of nearly dying before being saved by a battlesmith and an iron defender. Battlesmiths play a key role in the house Kenneth work on the battle construction of the original Warforged after the last war. These artificers led effort to aid those who were injured in the war's horrific battles. Interesting. By the time you adopt this trade, you gain proficiency in leatherworking tools and smith's tools. In addition, anytime you craft magical items in the armor category, specifically the armor category, it takes you a quarter of the normal time and costs you half as much gold. This is cool. I like this. This is good. This is good. Battlesmith spells, you get Heroism, Searing Smite, Branding Smite, Warding Bond, Aura of Vitality, Blinding Smite, Aura of Protection, Staggering Smite, Brandishing Smite, and Mass Cure Wounds. Interesting. Me like. You get that 17th level, so. But still, game. Wow, these are all Paladin stuff. Paladin-like abilities on a Artificer. When you reach 3rd level, the combined your combat training and experimental magic is paid off in 2 ways. You gain proficiency with martial weapons. When you attack with a magic weapon, you can use your intelligence modifier instead of strength or dexterity for the attack and damage rules. Awesome. We get the up close and personal Artificer. This is good. This is good. I like this. I love the Artificer. They cheat their way into every class, like into every play style. The Artificers just find a way to cheat into it. I love it. Iron Defender. By 3rd level, the tinkering in your free time has bore you a faithful companion, an Iron Defender. This metallic creature resembles a hound, a cougar, a bear, or another 4-legged creature of your choice. It's friendly to you and your companions and obeys your commands. See this creature's game statistics in the Iron Defender's stat block. In combat, the Iron Defender shares your initiative count but takes its turn immediately after yours. It can move and use its reaction on its own, but the only action it takes on its turn is the dodge action, unless you take a bonus action on your turn to command it to take one of the actions in a stack block, or dash, disengage, or help action. Help action is still very, very good, even if you don't use it for anything else. The help action is always good, especially if this is a front line Iron Defender. By the sound of things, it will be. If the mending spell is cast on it, it regains 2d6 hit points. Nice. If it has died within the last hour, you can use your smith's tools as an action to revive it, provided you are within 5 feet of it, and you expend a spell slot of 1st level or higher. Pretty reasonable. The Iron Defender returns to life after 1 minute with all of its hit points restored. Okay. At the end of a long rest, you can create a new Iron Defender if you have your smith's tools with you. If you already have an Iron Defender from this feature, the first one immediately perishes. Pretty reasonable. All right. Let's see here. Iron Defender has 15 armor class, so not bad. 5 times your level plus 5 times your Artificer level, plus the intelligence modifier, plus the Iron Defender's Constitution modifier, which in this case is a 2. So that would be, starting at the gate, that would be we'll say plus 3 for argument's sake. So 15, 18, 20. So 20 hit points at 3rd level with a 15 armor class. About as tough as you. So that's pretty good. Stat-wise, pretty mediocre stats, but we'll see if there's something else in that makes it particularly good. Pretty fast though. 40 foot speed. Perception is pretty good. Immune to poison. Immune to charm, exhaustion, and poison. Dark vision. Understands your languages. Might of the Master. The following number increases by 1 when your proficiency bonus increases by 1. The Iron Defender's skill bonuses, the bonuses to hit and damage of its bite, and the number of hit points restored by the repair action. So it goes up by 1 whenever your proficiency bonus goes up. So it starts so think of it as your proficiency bonus minus 2. Vigilant. The Iron Defender cannot be surprised. Nice. So it always takes its turn on in a surprise round, so it can always defend you. This is pretty good. Bite melee weapon it's a d8 plus 2, so nothing fancy. Repair 2d8 plus 2 on itself 3 times a day. That's also pretty good. Reaction, defensive policy. Iron Defender imposes disadvantage on the attack rolls of one creature it can see within 5 feet of it, provided the attack roll is against a creature other than the Iron Defender. Alright, so pretty simple basic stuff. It's about as good. It's arguably slightly better than the Ranger's Animal Companion. Well, it probably gets better over time. So let's see what we got here. Arcane Jolt. 6th level, you learn a new way to channel arcane energy through your weapon attacks and your Iron Defender. First, your Iron Defender's bite attack is now considered magical for the purposes of bypassing resistances and immunities, thanks to enhancements you've made to the creature in your free time. Second, when you or your Iron Defender hits a target with a magic weapon attack, you can channel magic energy strike through to create one of the following effects. The target takes an extra 2d4 force damage. So that bite's actually pretty deadly at that point. Choose one creature or object you can see within 30 feet of the target. Healing energy flows to the chosen recipient, restoring 2d4 hit points. You can channel this magical energy a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, but you can do so no more than once a turn. Regain all expended uses of the feature when you finish a long rest. So at this point, it will be 4 times for sure, possibly 5 if you roll. Having 4 or 5 times be able to do an additional 2d4 force damage or heal someone for 2d4 hit points within 30 feet. This is basically giving a means of healing word to a friendly minion, or an ally rather, within 30 feet. That's pretty good. Actually, that's very, very good. Although that's whenever you hit, you have to make sure that you hit with a weapon attack. Now you do get extra attack as this class, so it's not surprising. Improved Defender. So at 14th level, your Arcane Jolt and Iron Defender become more powerful. Extra damage and healing of your Arcane Jolt both increase to 4d4, so it doubles. Whenever your Iron Defender uses its defensive pounce, the attacker takes force damage equal to 1d4 plus your intelligence modifier. Cool. I mean, there's no reason not to have this creature next to you or an ally that's going to be fighting a lot. Imposing disadvantage regularly is naturally good, and then being able to cause a little bit of force damage is a nice little addition. Artificer infusions, we already know about this. So this is interesting. I like this. I like this more upfront and personal kind of Artificer, where you kind of get in and do a lot of fighting yourself. The Artificer has always been kind of a mixed bag of damage and support and martial and magic. And the archetypes really force you into different directions with them, or allow you to be in different directions with them, rather. These 2 additional ones are much more... this one specifically is a much less support-oriented and much more like a secondary fighting kind of character that has some support, almost like a paladin with the supporting abilities, the supporting unit, like the ranger, having ways to give some healing, some ways to provide, but also has the smites. You have a lot of ways to really, really amp things up. This is interesting. I like this one. Yeah, and then obviously there's also the Archivist, where you get a smite-like ability, but you get that as an action. You can just choose to expend spell slots for the psychic, but for psychic damage of all things, and being able to just create like an information network between you and your party, or just other people. You can give a magical item that you've infused to someone at your home base and just talk with them, make sure that things are going normal at home. That, or just if you're part of a guild, give it to your guild master or whoever that you plan to be in contact with regularly. That's incredible. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do here. I love these. These are really good, really fun, really interesting. I like them both. Man, I'm going to be playing Artificers for a while. This is cool. I like it. So that just about wraps up this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, put your comments and ideas in the troll's nest on the underside of this video, and I want to hear what you guys think of this. These are fun and interesting. The Archivist is really, really interesting. Very different. They're not a builder. They're like, unlike the other ones. Like the other ones, they make stuff. This one doesn't make stuff. This one like just changes information, like moves well, it makes information, but it's very different. It feels different. I like it. But yeah, that's just wraps up this video. So until next time, guys, have a good day.